Hello, and welcome to the Valentine's edition of Articulate Thoughts. Yeah, it's February Tuesday, 14th, and it is Valentine's Day, and it is an interesting time because it's one of those holidays where it's all over the place. You can't really get away from it. Well, you can, but it just, you can choose to participate or not, like any other holiday or anything in life. But yeah, I had this idea talking about love and self-love for a while, but haven't really gotten to it, but this seems like the perfect occasion to dive right into it. So, um, yeah, so I want to talk about this one thing about when I left my hometown. Some things was going on, and there was like a radical change in perspective. And one of the main motivations for me picking up everything and just leaving was to learn about self love. So I left my hometown, or I made the decision when I was about 27. I made a decision when I was 27. And then I spent a year getting everything together. But at that point, when I was 27 years old, I was involved in a community project with a friend of mine. And we were basically setting up acoustic music shows in Mississauga and gathering musicians to perform at these shows. And then we would open like a busking type of situation where people could donate money to a nonprofit organization in the community, and we would hold these shows maybe once or twice a month, sometimes three times a month, depending in the summertime or how busy it was getting and how often the musicians wanted to perform. So was pretty committed to that for a few years, and I in my mind, for a long time I was like, yeah, like I love music. I like want to do something good for the community, and like, it just seemed like the perfect fit. And somewhere along the line, I had realized um, that what I was really looking for was like a sense of validation. I was looking for like love, to get loved by others for doing this like great thing, and I didn't really see it that way though. And yeah, so I just kind of had that mask of, like I love people, I love the community, I love music, and I wanted, this project has combined everything, and I wanted to just make it grow and all that kind of great stuff. But somewhere along the lines, I kind of realized that really it was just for myself. Like ultimately, I wanted this validation, love, and attention from other people. And there was a lot of different variables that came into my realizing this, but I realized that it was a fruitless endeavor because I had no control over what other people did, thought, or said. And there was a lot of times where people actually complimented me. They would go out of their way and said, "Hey, man, that was a really great performance," and it was a good feeling. But there was something about it that I didn't truly believe it. I didn't truly accept it. And there was just all these like really good things happening, but just for some reason I didn't really believe it. And I came to this realization that I had very low amount of self love. I didn't really love myself that much. I was always doing things for other people or doing things in in a way that I thought would get me love from other people. And then I was like thinking, man, like I was just so confused over it. I was like, well, how does all of this really work? Like if I don't have love, I'm trying to give love, but I don't even have it. So how am I supposed to give something I don't really have? It's just this weird thing. Like even now it's a little bit confusing to me. But I remember like having this one night where I was like in my room and I was just like having this like kind of breakdown, and I'm like, I don't really understand any of this. This is just so damn confusing. And I was like, man, I just want to understand, like, how do I get love? How do I feel loved? And so I got to a point where I realized like I needed to separate myself from that entire situation, or just like that whole like life in total, because no matter what I did, I just couldn't feel loved. So um, I made the decision to just kind of drop everything and then move away and just kind of have a fresh start. And that was at a point. I mean, in that situation, I didn't have any choice but to focus on myself. And then over the past year or two, I really realized like the power of like putting my time and effort into myself. Because again, there's like I have no control over what other people are gonna do, say, or think. I can only control that for myself. So the only way to really guarantee me being loved is by doing it myself. And then there's this other aspect of, people interpret love in different ways, right? Like when I was growing up, I had this, like any person, any teenager, kind of this like, resentment for their parents, and that could come from a variety of different places and for different reasons. But in my mind, I felt like they weren't loving me, and I remember the day where it clicked, and I realized that it's not that they didn't love me. It's just they didn't love me in the way that I wanted them to love me. Like they did their best. If anything, it was quite the opposite. Like the evidence showed. Like my dad, he worked his entire like he pretty much moved here in Canada when he was 19, and he just worked and worked and worked and just found a better paying job and set himself up, paid for the house like without going into debt pretty much. Pretty much like yeah, saved up and just paid it outright, and then paid for four kids' college tuitions. My mom didn't have to work a day in her life. Well, she worked as a mother, but not like out in the workforce type of work. And like it was a very selfless thing. Like he was a penny pincher, and he did not buy anything for himself really, just like the bare necessity, just something the things he needed. But I think of my lifestyle now. I'm like, oh my gosh, I can't even imagine like living a life where all my money was going to a family. And then there was my mother, where she didn't have much of a social life or anything. She just kind of was just at home all the time, cooking and cleaning and just taking care of the kids. And I remember like seeing this. I'm like, how could I not believe that my parents loved me? That was the most absurd thing. And then like I shared that cognition with my parents, and told them that I did see how they loved me, and um that was greatly appreciative for that. And I can never thank them enough. And even like these days, I say it all the time to them, that I wouldn't have anything without them, and like their love is so powerful, and like I was a fool to not see it or feel it. And it was just a very eye-opening experience. But yeah, like at the end of the day, just I think the most important form of love to really focus on is self-love. And there's a very fine line between like self-love and like selfishness and just straight out greed. um there's this thing of it's not selfish to just take time and effort to focus on yourself. But when it kind of goes to that dark side is when I will do anything to benefit me, anything, even if it's at the cost, at the detriment of other people. If that's the price to pay, then I will take it. That's when that whole self love and selfishness kind of goes overboard into the dark side. There's always this thing about like, I want to do things to benefit myself and, if possible, benefit other people. Well, the ideal scenario is I'm winning and everyone around me is winning as well, in abundance. Like we're all doing really well. That's the ideal scenario. So that's something to keep in mind all the time for myself. But I think just like in this day and age where like it's all over the place. It's like reality shows and social media, like music and movies and books. It's all thing about like love and like getting someone to love you, and it's just like it's a fruitless endeavor. I feel it's just like it's never gonna happen, and like you can't give what you don't have, and the best place to start is to love yourself and give that time and attention for yourself. And then I've noticed like the opportunities have opened up dramatically to get involved in that kind of love because I love myself more than I have ever. There's still a lot more for me to learn in that department, but um, the timing feels right now. It feels better because I have a better understanding of like what it means. What do I want in terms of being loved? So that's just my take on it, and that's how I feel. And today is like Tuesday is like my love day for myself because I book it off work, and then I just do the yoga and the yoga volunteering, and then the dance volunteering, and it pretty much takes up my entire day. And the blogs that I enjoy doing. So it's just Tuesday is like Valentine's Day for me every week. So nothing too outrageous today. So hope this video was helpful for you, and thanks for tuning in. And I'll see you the next Tuesday, the 21st.